Hello, everyone. We thought it would be helpful to explain how I1's process works for folks that use it. So here goes. First, the purpose of the I1 process is to give you the highest probability of living your purpose, achieving your goals and objectives, and reaching and maintaining the highest quality life possible by taking advantage of synaptic plasticity, engram formation, and neural encoding. Now, you don't need to know what these terms mean. These are all, however, low-level functions of neuroplasticity, the ability of the brain to change and adapt as a result of ongoing experiences and learning processes, including visualization, repetition, modeling, and so forth. This adaptability is expressed in both physical and functional changes in the brain. And most amazingly, the brain makes these changes in response, not only to actual experiences, but also to those that are imagined or even simply thought about frequently. Now, the single undertaking that most effectively increases the probability of converting your objectives into realities is the investment of resources into your desired outcomes. These resources typically include time, energy, activities, and mental focus. The primary challenge most of us face in that pursuit, however, is achieving and maintaining the focus necessary to optimize that investment. In today's scattershot world of endorphin-soaked attention magnets, attaining and sustaining focus on our most challenging priorities is almost as difficult as the work needed to achieve those objectives. We live in a distraction field, full of low-value sirens, luring us off course to crash into the rocks. As Denzel Washington so aptly put it, ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. The I1 process is designed specifically to drive the achievement and maintenance of focus, but not just focus in general, like the benefit you might get from meditation. The I1 process is designed to generate high levels of focus in the areas of your life that are most important to you and that currently need the most attention. Just to be clear, this process is not a standalone solution. It is designed to increase the focus of your time, energy, and actions on the personal development and life-enhancing goals and activities you are already or desire to be engaged in, and to significantly increase the benefits you receive from them by significantly improving your consistency. So you're probably asking how it works. Well, there are two major pieces of the process: completing and continuously revising a questionnaire and producing and listening to the recordings generated from the information you provide in the questionnaire. At a minimum, engaging in this process provides daily revival of inspired alignment with your highest values, goals, and objectives, renewed motivation to practice effective habits that extinguish your dysfunctional habits, enhanced development of disciplines that will drive your behavior when you experience diminished motivation, increased neural encoding of your chosen beliefs and visions, and overall, mental velocity, increasing your focus on your chosen priorities in the midst of all the low-value distractions that surround us. Specificity. Okay, so the questionnaire is the extraction process that pulls the content we gather from you into an organized framework. It is also a decision-making tool that allows you to clarify where your focus will lie over the next few days, weeks, months, and years in a very simple top-down way. It deploys some simple yet powerful questions to extract one of the most fundamental dimensions of our formula: specificity. If you look at the workouts of highly skilled athletes, you will see training, exercise, and skill-building regimens that are extremely detailed to fit that athlete's sport, position, body type, etc. You would never see a bodybuilder running 10 miles per day or a cyclist practicing their maximum bicep curl weight. These exercises, which in many regards are extremely beneficial, would actually work against their desired training outcomes, no matter how well they're designed. Nor would you see an economist intending to improve her understanding of international banking, spending hours studying the hindbrains of rhesus monkeys, or a surgeon trying to improve his skill set by researching compounds used for gas chromatography. However, we typically find ourselves using generic solutions to solve our very specific problems, and this lack of specificity rarely results in optimal levels of success. One of our primary objectives while developing this tool was to ensure that the output for the listener is highly specific to that individual and focused on his or her most important and critical concerns. We are not interested at all in putting out generic content that might be attractive to a large swath of people, but will most likely generate only limited results over a brief period of time. Cognitive compression. Well, fundamentally, this process, especially the recordings, functions similarly to the way a person might become a millionaire using a form of compression. If you earned $50,000 a year for 20 years, you will have earned a total of $1 million. But my friend, you most likely would not be a millionaire. That's because your income over that time period would barely exceed your needs. On the other hand, if you could earn that same $1 million in less than 1 year, you would most probably be a millionaire. This is because by compressing the time frame within which you receive this income, it would most likely significantly exceed your needs, providing you with a significant surplus of cash. The personal alignment recordings take your highest values, inspirations, and motivations, gathered from your answers in the questionnaire, and compress them into an extremely concentrated dose. This compressed dosing is then delivered to you using persuasive language patterns derived from behavioral research that minimize the brain's resistance to its communication. Because of the concentrated dosing and the increased receptivity to it, your daily dosage of motivation and inspiration would exceed your needs, leaving you with a surplus. Zig Ziglar put it well when he said, "People often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily." There's no doubt that if you had all the thoughts and visualizations we put into a single recording, spread out over a year, which would be typical for a normal human being, you would get some inspiration and achieve some focus and progress. But those results might be similar to what you might achieve in a single month if you were listening to these compressed doses. Earl Nightingale, long before many of us were born, said, "We become what we think about." These mental inoculations of powerful drivers prime your short-term motivation, provide behavioral leverage for building new habits, and provide the means for you to self-program long-term modification of your thoughts, your thought processes, and your outcomes. We take the highly distinctive information you provide in the questionnaire and use tailored algorithms combined with a formulaic set of behavior-adjusting language patterns and linguistics to script the content of the conversation used in your recordings. Clients, on average, take a couple of minutes to make small revisions to their recordings every 2 weeks or so. We apply 17 procedural steps to the process of scripting these conversations in order to make them mentally digestible. And just to impress you a bit with some jargon, these procedures include present-based time framing, a top-down topic hierarchy, and temporal landmarking, just to name a few. And by the way, the brain instinctively seeks comfort, and change is uncomfortable. Processed according to certain linguistic patterns, however, changes can be made much more acceptable to our highly evolved protective mental biases. Instead of going into the weeds regarding the behavioral tools we employ to engineer these conversations, let's keep it simple. First off, your brain is extremely flexible. Neuroplasticity is the ability of the brain to change and adapt as a result of ongoing experiences and learning processes, including visualization, repetition, modeling, and so forth. This adaptability is expressed in both functional and physical changes. And most amazingly, the brain makes these changes in response not only to actual experiences, but also to those that are imagined, or even simply thought about frequently. There's a substantial body of research indicating that mental imagery, or imagining a behavior, can be nearly as effective as physically practicing the behavior, especially in terms of skill enhancement and behavior modification. The I-1 process uses a very simple philosophy to allow you to change your own mind. We simply take what's most important to you, compress that into a brief conversation designed around research-based techniques for improved receptivity, and provide an efficient, comfortable, and non-energy-intensive method for digesting it. You are then able to consistently bring your highest values into your conscious thinking and decision-making with exertion of minimal amounts of difficulty. So, why would you listen to a recording when you could simply imagine the outcomes, or recite mantras, or go to workshops, or read books? That kind of stuff. Well, there, my friend, is the crux of the problem. Difficulty. The most persistent challenge most people have with executing on their personal development methods is consistency. And the level of difficulty is the foremost indicator of success or failure in the pursuit of consistency. We simply lose interest in our higher objectives because of the volume of distractions and the weight of what's right in our face in the present moment. Sitting down to meditate, to chant, to talk to a coach, or read an inspiring book are powerful solutions for increasing our focus and motivation. However, when the quota is not met, traffic is congested, or the kids are running around the house like they've lost their minds, all of these options become difficult. Although relatively effective, they all take time, effort, and significant focus. Just staying focused enough to self-visualize an outcome for as little as 10 minutes actually requires intense concentration and effort. So what do most people do? They struggle with the current technique for some period of time, then taper off and eventually quit altogether, typically moving on to the next book, seminar, method, etc. The personal alignment recordings, however, reduce the amount of effort required to almost nothing. As a matter of fact, most people love listening to them and get a greater return from listening to them than virtually any other personal development practice they've ever deployed. And they can be used while engaged in other activities with significant return on the investment of time. We do admit that the work on the initial questionnaire can be challenging. The questions we ask are incisive, and most people simply don't think about these topics except in passing. The language model, the AI, however, makes it significantly easier by allowing you to simply rough in your thoughts so you can get the process started. It then uses those ideas to flesh out and build your initial recording. The effort for listening is simply push play on your audio player. While you're driving to work, push play and listen. While you're working out, push play and listen. Or while you're washing the dishes, push play and listen. In relation to the benefits across the complete spectrum of your priorities, the effort is virtually imperceptible, and we hate to even talk about the effect and the return in terms of energy, focus, and outcomes, because most people simply won't believe how powerful this practice is until they've experienced it themselves. And what happens when you've reached a goal that's on your recording or your priorities change? Well, make a few quick adjustments to your questionnaire, produce a new recording, and you're set to move to another level. What does it take to produce a recording? Choose the Produce New Recording menu option. Wait a few minutes and listen to or download your new recording. That's it. And what happens if you get bored with your recording? Well, you can choose a different voice, choose a different author's style, or just produce a new recording without making any changes to your questionnaire. Although the key elements of the recording will remain the same, the AI will write the script just differently enough that you'll have a different version of your recording every time you produce it, still in alignment with your top values and goals. So these recordings serve three vital functions. Priming. First, they prime your conscious awareness, enabling you to overcome the mental inertia you might find yourself in when you're waking up, during a time of day when you feel lethargic, or right before you begin a work session. In a short period of time, you'll find your thinking directed to your highest values, goals, objectives, practices, etc., consistently providing the kind of short-term momentum that gets you taking relevant action. Habituation. Second, consistently listening to the recordings forms neural pathways supporting your desired habits and actions. One of our great challenges is replacing our highly ingrained habits with habits that are productive. By using short-term motivation to drive the practice of replacement habits, we are able over time to develop disciplines that thrive even when our motivation levels are low. Modified beliefs and perceptions. Finally, repeated use of these recordings, the visualizations, and the thinking they engender affects a form of self-programming that literally allows us to change our minds. Effectively deployed and repeated thinking of our own design creates new beliefs and perceptions and prunes away those that are ineffective and counterproductive. The constant imprinting of these new neural structures, which is exactly what happens as one consistently uses these recordings, provides the physical changes to the brain that generate and sustain modified thinking, reactions, and ultimately, outcomes. And all of this priming, habituation, and conditioning of beliefs and perceptions is completely under your control, as you are the person now designing your own thinking. So again, what is the process? So first, we collect the information we need from you for the recordings in the PAR questionnaire. Just the process of answering these questions will prompt you to make decisions that will improve your outcomes long before you ever listen to a single recording. These questions will help to clarify the details of the life areas that are most important to you. This clarification, organization, and prioritization will not only get you started, but will lay the groundwork for your future recordings. Even if you just give rough general answers, the AI will build you a powerful script. Over time, as you listen, add, clarify, and modify your answers, your recordings will become more and more effective, and you will find yourself leveled up in ways you would never have predicted prior to using the process. Your recordings will evolve as you continue to progress and evolve. It's a wonderful process to watch. You'll answer questions about your life purpose, values, priorities, objectives, goals, systems, habits, beliefs, and your vision of your future. Don't worry, we are not interested in sharing your information. It's not who we are, and it definitely doesn't align with our purpose, values, and objectives. Once you've completed the questionnaire, you'll produce your recording. To do this takes only a mouse click. All of your answers are delivered to an AI that has a database of nearly 10 million books, articles, and research papers. The AI will take your answers and write a script using the writing style of the author of your choice, based on an algorithm we've spent decades improving. That script will then be delivered to a text-to-speech system that will build your audio file using the voice you choose from our selection of voices. Once the audio file is completed, which takes anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, you'll be able to listen to it or download it to any of your devices from your browser. We've experienced unbelievable reactions to our recordings, and we're so glad that we don't have to build them the way we did in the past, which took 6 to 8 hours for each recording, for which we had to charge significantly more than the average person could afford. Now we can produce a recording for you in a matter of minutes and deliver it to you through your web browser. You have no idea how happy we are that we can help so many more people with this amazing evolution of personal development technology. We hope you start building recordings for yourself and experiencing the improvements across the areas of your life that are most important to you, the way we and so many of our friends have. Our goal is to help as many people as we can. We hope that you're one of them. Thanks.